Yeah. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain Revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. Swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Jago beat. OnChain Revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain Revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me no way. OnChain Revolution, here to stay. Yeah, Sam Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah, Nicky's. Yeah, OnChain Revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain Revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the stack. Ordinal's the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin and crypto ecosystems. What is up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live on the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be absolutely amazing, guys. Because yes, Bitcoin's price is low. Yes, Ethereum is finally going home. But guys, we have so much to look forward to. We have quantitative easing coming. So Jerome Powell is about to have an emergency meeting at 11:30. We've seen emergency meetings in the past. We had one in March. Nothing came from it, but we'll see what happens today. People are predicting QE. People are predicting an interest rate cut. I'm just here for the show. I'm just here for, we've gotten beaten down so bad right now, especially in the altcoins, that it's just like, how much worse can it get? It really can't get any worse than it is, right? It's like send them lower, send them higher. It doesn't matter, because the next year or so is going to be very, very big for us. We are going to establish our own economy here in crypto, and it's going to be different than anything that's ever existed. The assets that are already there, the S&P 500, the NVIDIAs, the Apples, they will all be tokenized in the next 2 years. Everything is coming to us. We just have to be patient. We have to be patient. We have to be, maybe a little bit more risk off than we want to be, right? And I'm kind of seeing that as well. Maybe I should have been a little more risk off, so I had money to deploy. We don't have money to deploy. Stop lying to yourself, crypto Twitter. You guys don't have unlimited money. You're earning money. You're buying stuff. That's fine, but you don't have money sitting on silent. No one does. Everyone bought dip after dip after dip, and we just keep dipping. But that's okay, because we're in the right place at the right time. We're gonna see a moment in time where we just run and run and run, and we just win. We finally win. This is the area you want to be in. This is where all your risk will pay off. That is crypto. And really excited for today's show. It's going to be very macro oriented because there really isn't much news, but we have a great one for you today. So without further ado, bring my partner up. As always, Mr. Iago B. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's
up, man? Are you tired of the macro, bro? I'm freaking tired of the macro.
I'm ready to move forward. I am ready to move forward. And so, I'm tired of it. But I will still wake up. I will still, put my shoes on and get to work. And I think having that mentality is very crucial to get forward and move forward and get through these harsh times.
Shoes on? I haven't worn shoes in over a year.
Damn. Walking around barefooted like Fred Flintstone over here.
I mean, I can't afford shoes. Shoes are expensive, bro. I'd rather buy crypto. But yeah, now we have so what's going on in the markets? We had an insane week last week of down only. Over the weekend, we know the tariffs have kicked in officially. What is going on right now? What do you see in the markets and with this macro situation?
Uncertainty, right? We
Yep.
we it's continued on since really the after the second week of January this year, but the uncertainty has really kicked in. I think as of late, after breaking down the tariffs that are applied to now, the reciprocal tariffs, however you want to call
Yeah.
them. And so the market is nervous. A lot of people are complaining on crypto Twitter. You're seeing a lot of these, political people, people that have millions of dollars and they have their portfolios really upset. Even some people that voted for Trump in this administration, kind of, just giving their opinion because they're traders, right? Like Bill Ackman,
Yeah.
which manages hedge funds and stuff like that, right? So um, we knew there was going to be some pain and we're going through it, right? So this is something similar to the COVID kind of scare and dip, and hopefully we get something that happened during that time period as well with the amazing rebound.
Yeah, but this is a little different than COVID, right? This is like a self-inflicted wound. This is right, but sometimes you have to, like when you're doing surgery, you have to cut an area open to fix it, right? And that's kind of very similar to what Trump is doing right now. Yeah, you have to cause a little pain first before you can fix the issue underneath. And we have a problem underneath. I mean, we are sitting in $36 trillion in debt with no real way of paying it. We have a deficit of $2 trillion going into this year and no really solutions on getting that down. So you have to come up with something. And this tariff stuff is necessary. We are the biggest consumer in the world. We don't really make any products. Like we're not really sending anything anywhere else. I mean, here and there, but to the to everyone else, we're probably like 10-20% of the world's economy in the sense of importing, or for us would be exporting. What do you think Trump's thinking right now? Like we heard earlier that a 90-day proposal came in, but then that was debunked. And for the tariffs, right? 90-day cut on the tariffs. What do you think? What do you think about that? What happened this morning with that?
So I couldn't tell if that was what really jumped the markets. I think it was, because once that was debunked, the markets
Oh,
reversed a bit, right? But there was also a headline of the EU saying they're ready to negotiate 0 to 0 tariffs with the US. So I thought maybe that was a part of it. But yeah, so I'm actually glad because I want to move forward from all the tariff stuff. So like a
yeah,
90-day pause just seems like something that's similar to what we were going through with Mexico and in
yeah,
Canada, like constantly like just pushing it off. So I just want to, like, if this is his plan, let's just get through it and see who comes to the table to negotiate, because we have heard quite a bit of countries trying to reach out and renegotiate their trade deals, right? Like Japan, Vietnam, stuff like that.
yeah.
But the market's going to be volatile until there's a normalization of what's happening, and we'll see stability, and possibly the Fed comes in and tries to play hero, even though I know they don't like to do that. But sometimes they got to do it like they did in COVID. And yes, it is a different situation, but not for them, because their job is to curb inflation and I forgot what there's two responsibilities: curb inflation, and another one is I can't remember what the other one is, but this is that, right? This is going to be a part of that. So we'll see what happens. Polymarket seems to think that there might be an emergency cut, so that could be
Yeah,
good.
definitely growing. Yeah. So let's get into it. Over 2.1 trillion wiped out of the US stock market at the open today. And then bounce back. The S&P looks like a volatile meme coin right now. Like it was down to 48, up to 52, and now we're kind of sitting at around 5100 for the S&P. Pretty wild. So the Fed calls for a special meeting at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, which is about 21 minutes from right now. Matter to be considered: review by the Board of Governors of the advance and discount rates be charged by the Federal Reserve Bank. But we do know on March 10th, we had a very similar event happen. The Federal Reserve Board of Governors last held a closed meeting on March 10th, 2025, to review and determine the advance and discount rates to be charged. But it's the same exact thing, right? So this already happened. Nothing came from that. No one was even thinking about a rate cut back then. Do you think this time's different in the sense of, I mean, we're only not even a month later?
Yeah, I mean, Jerome Powell has said it. He said that they didn't expect the tariffs to be this intense, and
Yeah.
so I do think the conversation is different today. We're going to find out if there's any sort of action being taken, though, because I don't know if this is kind of a game of chicken between the Fed and Trump and the administration, because you've seen some posts about him saying, "Hey, it's time to cut rates. He's always late." Blah blah blah. There could be like a pride thing kicking in here. I don't think the Fed would really hold pride, to hold him back to do something that's better for the country. But we'll see. We're gonna find out, right? I do think there's a lot of strategy in all of this, though. This is something that's been thought out. Maybe they didn't expect the markets to dump that hard, the administration, but at the same time, it does put pressure on the Fed to get to QE quicker. But they're in the bad spot too, right? Because they have their kind of formula of balance to try to get to where they want to get to. But we're going to find out today if the Fed is going to be like on the same page as this administration or not.
Yeah, I think Jerome Powell has done an amazing job from 2022 and on, right? 2021, he was a really bad year for him. He let the markets go a little too long, but it was tough because it was a pandemic, right? It was hard to make sure you're doing the right thing. It was easier to kind of let things go, but he let inflation go a little too long, and inflation, eventually hit 9%. But what he did in 2021 with the rate hikes was like almost perfect. I mean, right now we're sitting at around 2 to 3% inflation. I mean, I think the guy did an amazing job. So I'm hoping that he continues this amazing job and kind of goes from QT, quantitative tightening, where they're selling bonds into the market, to maybe a pause here. Maybe that's what comes out from today. Maybe we finally pause quantitative tightening. Maybe we don't drop interest rates. Maybe we don't go into quantitative easing, but at least stop selling bonds into the market. Could be the ideal situation for this one anyway.
Could be. I do think that war room's probably getting more and more intense every time they meet.
Yeah.
Last time is probably like, okay, guys, get ready for tariff announcements and stuff. But now it's probably like, whoa, we didn't expect this.
Yeah.
All right, how do we let's how do we go in and try to help the situation for our responsibilities at least.
What are you expecting to come out today? What would you? For me, I think it's just stopping quantitative tightening. I think that's what I'm kind of expecting.
I wouldn't be surprised with an extreme measure either. So I just know it won't go the other way, to where they'll obviously they're not going to raise rates and stuff like that, so it's going to be, if there's some sort of like drastic measure to cut rates, or even like a 0.5, I wouldn't be shocked. But at the same time, emergency rate cuts don't happen very often. Like, COVID was the last time, right?
2020,
I wonder what the last time was before that. Was it 2008, 2009, maybe?
I'm not sure.
Probably something like
probably.
that, right? So do you think it warrants that level right now?
Not yet. Just because it's self-inflicted, and Trump could ease up at any minute. I mean, we've seen almost that happen this morning, but it was a lie, right? So I feel like Jerome's going to play this very methodical. I think he's just going to stop tightening. I think that's the I'm actually expecting that to happen. Like I'm pretty confident that at least tightening will happen. I'm going to say there's 0% chance of a rate cut today, or quantitative easing start today. Would you agree to that?
Not 0%, just because I feel like like Polymarket's pretty accurate, and I think it only jumped to like 35%, but that's a pretty big jump from 5%, 32% to 5%, 5% to 32%. So what that tells me is that, did it pull back down?
Yeah,
24%. Okay, it pulled back down to 24%. So, but we'll see what happens after today's meeting, because I imagine there's going to be some headlines that come out of that, and then if it's still like really intense, like kind of anxiety type thing the next week, then we might see this increase again. And if that happens, then it might not happen today, but it could happen in the next couple of weeks. Who knows? But you're right. The one thing that could happen is Trump kind of takes a step back here. But we don't want that, right? We don't want the tariffs to pause, because then we're just in this lingo kind of land that it's worse than what he was doing with Canada and Mexico, because now it's the whole world. And then 90 days, like there's this unknown. So the markets won't like that. Uncertainty is the worst thing for them.
Yeah, markets are forward looking. Let's get this behind us, right? So once it's behind us, but the fact that he can just do this at any second, but I just hope he doesn't come out. I'm really, really hoping that we just keep the tariffs how they are, negotiate with some countries, some come down that benefit the U.S., right? So we'll see. He did have a comment today. It says, "Don't be weak, don't be stupid, don't panic." I think this should be written in a book or like on his gravestone. I mean, I love this quote. What do you think he means by this? Don't be weak, don't be stupid, don't panic.
Don't sell your stock right now and panic, especially the stocks that are solid, right? Like the S&P index and all that stuff, right? Like I think that's what he's saying. He's saying, don't be dumb, because you're going to end up regretting it in the next couple months or whatever. But it's easy to say that, right? It's easy to say that, but like if you're losing, like you mentioned, someone like Bill Ackman that probably lost millions and millions of dollars, really quick, it does change your tune very fast.
Yeah, I mean, those guys, a bad day is losing millions of dollars, and they probably lost billions. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, Bill Ackman controls not just his own money; he controls a lot of other people's money
Clients,
as well, right? So, that's the thing. It's like when your clients are calling you and you're about to lose potential contracts because you weren't ready for this, right? That's a bigger deal. And he's going against BlackRock, right? He's going against Fidelity. He's going against some really big players who a lot of people could switch to. So I think I think to me, that's kind of what he's trying to do there. That's why he's panicking a little bit, is because, I mean, he's not worried probably about his own money, but he's worried about losing clients here.
Yeah, that as well. But one thing I will say is, the whole thing about this administration helping out the billionaires. Bill Ackman is a billionaire, right? And there's Chamath, he's a big investor too. Like they're all getting hit. So it kind of goes against that whole theory of this administration is only looking out for billionaires and stuff. Yes, there's going to be a reset, and a lot of these billionaires will make out like bandits, but that gives an opportunity to anybody that has cash on hand. Right. So if you're middle class, even you're not making a ton, but you've been saving cash, this could be an opportunity of a lifetime in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see what Warren Buffett does, but that's the problem, is we won't see until July, right? In his next quarterly meeting or whatever. So, but speaking of billionaires, Michael Saylor's strategy acquired 0 Bitcoin between March 31st and April 6th. He's taking the week off. Isn't it crazy? When Bitcoin goes up, he buys, but when it drops, he doesn't. It just says something about where he can get the money from, right? Like when the stock's up, he can sell it. When the stock's down, he can't. But what do you think this means when he didn't buy any Bitcoin last week?
There's people that are going to talk bad about that and say, like he's scared or whatever, but I don't think he is. I think he's really just, like you said, doesn't have that excess capital right now. His strategy is kind of being put on pause, right? No pun intended there. But maybe it's a good time just to go to the Caribbean for a week or so and come back whenever. He's gonna be looking at his phone and all that stuff, but still get your mind off it as much as you can.
I just picture him waking up, like just making eggs and bacon for himself, like just like a normal guy. I don't know. I think, like I said, I was very like a normal billionaire. I guess I don't know what that even means, but all right, moving on. Finance CZ founder CZ joins Pakistan Crypto Council as strategic advisor to guide the Web3 blockchain and digital finance growth. I can actually see this a lot. I think it's really smart of countries to kind of go after CZ, and CZ. He's from what I know about him, he's a good person, and I think he's the perfect candidate for a lot of these overseas countries to bring him in, say, at least get his opinion on any move.
Yeah, he's obviously very, very experienced, and so it makes sense that they're going to him for this advisorship, right? I don't know about how he is from a moral perspective. I think that even like people with good morals can get to a situation of greed or a situation of like shadiness. That's and especially with a market that has gray lines like crypto did. hopefully those gray lines become more darkened, right? So we can get more to black and white in terms of regulations and stuff. But I think he has like, that experience at the highest level in our space, right? So it makes sense for them to go after him.
But like lately, Binance has been kind of acting a fool a little bit, right? They've been doing.
I don't like it.
Wintermute but like they didn't do that when CZ was in charge, right? We know CZ took a step back, right? Because he has the time to. He's running one of their divisions now, and yeah, maybe he has some say, but he's not the CEO no more, right? So I think under him, Binance was running a lot better. Binance was seen as a lot better of a company. Now they seem to be very Wintermute, I guess you would say.
Yeah, but I do feel like he kind of does little like soft jabs with his X account a little bit here, whether it's like the Hyperliquid situation or some other situation, and so he might not be pulling the strings, but seems like he's not necessarily disappointed with the direction that Binance is going, right? Again, though, they are the leading centralized exchange, I think, in terms of total volume, right? And so,
well, no, it's the Korean exchange. Well, yeah, you're right. Somebody was telling us over the weekend that one of the Korean exchanges was number 2 behind Binance, right?
So his influence as being the founder of Binance and his experience and stuff, going back to the original headline here, it makes sense that Pakistan does look to him as an advisor. He probably appreciates that when he gets reached out by a nation state.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? Like Brian Armstrong and CZ have to be one of the, like, when you think about crypto at all, like if I had my pick of the litter and I was sitting there and I could get anyone as my advisor, my first pick would be Brian Armstrong. My second pick would be CZ. Right? Like if you could pick anyone in the world, and maybe an Arthur Hayes, someone who made mistakes in the past, you know what I mean? Sometimes people who made mistakes in the past are a lot stronger than people who haven't made any mistakes because they know the consequences of the decisions, right? So even someone like Arthur Hayes, Bill Ackman, like these guys who are really here. I mean, CZ wouldn't be number 2 for me for sure.
Yeah, agree.
All right. So your boy. I love this guy. Colin talks crypto. I hated him in the bear market because he was very bearish, but in the bull market, he seems very very good. He said Bitcoin continues to follow the global M2 like glue. We're not out of the woods, he says, but if we're lucky, it will be mostly sideways from here until May. There could be some fine bleeding during this time. Second chart is the exact same chart, except Bitcoin is delayed with bars and wicks, so you can see how low it dropped today. So this is the first one. This is something we've been looking at for a while. You can see that it's following pretty closely. I mean, if you look into there, dude, this is almost exact. So this is so if anyone doesn't know, Bitcoin is in orange, and the M2 money supply is actually on 11-week delay. So if you delay the M2 money supply by 11 weeks, Bitcoin is almost the exact same chart. So Bitcoin is basically following the M2 money supply by 11 weeks behind and is lining up almost perfect. Look at this, dude. Like, how do you do that so perfect? I mean, this is insane how close this is following this.
It is insane. And I expect it to continue even though we're going through this right now, right? So
yeah.
What if countries start to give stimulus because of what's happening right now as well?
It's not going to happen. I don't think
a lot
on the table.
A lot of people are talking about like countries injecting. So whether it's for their not the US, I'm talking about like other countries, right? However they inject their capital into their market. Yeah. So if that happens, is this like times like a catalyst that could be like times 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. This right here is quantitative easing. I mean, this stuff happened. This is already kind of happened, some quantitative easing, right? This happened about 10 weeks ago. That we've seen. This is money coming in. This is fresh money being created and dumped into the markets.
And it might increase too. That's my point.
Yeah.
And so that's why the rebound could be really like amazing, but right now we have blurred vision because of the short-term impact. Right. And so, but going back to the M2 money supply, you're right. I mean, it's following flawlessly, and it's actually supposed to be kind of dipping right now, right? So like Bitcoin's supposed to be kind of dipping to follow that trend. So it's kind of like, well, might as well just let it dip while we're getting bad news too, anyways.
Yeah, I mean I mean we're basically at the bottom. You can see there was kind of like a double bottom here. You can even say triple bottom or reverse head and shoulders. That's very similar to what this looks like as well. And then we just go up, right? So I mean, a lot of indicators right now are saying, yeah, this might suck until May 25th, but May 25th all the way to August could be supernatural. It could be something explosive, man.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm really trying to position myself for that rebound, you know, as much as I can, obviously responsibly. But I do think the rebound's going to be crazy good. Like that Q4 looks pretty juicy in my opinion, but we'll see.
Yeah. So, but we do have some sideways ahead of us, right? So,
yeah,
from today, which is April 7th to May 25th, I mean, we can actually see it all the way up to potentially May 15th before we get an explosive run. But I do feel like we're going to have this. And, you know, what everyone thinking this is coming, what normally happens is we might not see this dip right here, right? We might just kind of just go straight up because if this is already in everyone's head, they're going to be like, we're about to run. And you see whales buying a little earlier than normal people, especially if this is if we stay sideways up until here, you could see an explosion, dude. Absolute explosion going into the end of May.
Yeah, and it doesn't follow exactly like every up and down, so that could make sense, you know, like just sideways a little bit and then start to go a little bit higher than the supply did.
Yep. All right. Benjamin Cohen. So this is something he's been saying for a long time. He's been calling, and I was someone who called him crazy for this, right? But as you can see, this is home. This is Bitcoin, Ethereum against Bitcoin. This is home. So this is something he's been calling for, and Ethereum is officially home. Ethereum is home against Bitcoin, and he's saying he will allow Ethereum to go up now because it went home. So dude, Benjamin Cohen, say what you want about him. Yeah, people can say he's been wrong, but every time he's wrong, he doesn't stay wrong. It eventually does what he says, right? So back here when it was running, everyone was calling him an idiot and he was wrong, but he was eventually right.
And he loves to be right about Ethereum. I'll tell you that.
Look at this chart.
He hit it. Yeah, he hit it, but it went a little bit lower, but I think it's in that range, right? It's in that range and it pulled all the way back. So but does it go lower than this? Does he say that
he has room to go? He said the home is between 0.01 and 0.02.
Oh, so, man, you didn't draw that home? That's his drawing?
Well, he showed this and I copied it, but yeah.
Okay. Cool. I was about to say, so like he's like, okay, guys, this is my range. So the bottom of the foundation of the house is right there at 0.01.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go below that, then I'm good.
Yep. So 0.02, he's been calling for he was calling for a 0.02. And we're officially right now we're under 0.02. And he's saying that the lowest he thinks we could go is 0.01. So this is the house that ETH has to live in for a little while, whether we go all the way down here or this is a short visit home and then you're ready to go back on your journey.
Yeah. So. Which, I mean, you got to give him that. It's kind of like the Arthur Hayes calling 70,000 or low 70,000 hit 74. Same thing. You got to give him this win, this dub right here. And let's see what happens with Ethereum, because this could be a good opportunity to keep your eye on it to see if it does go a little bit lower. And then maybe you find that entry position there.
I kind of want to draw the house.
Whoa.
All right.
I don't know what those windows were. I was kidding.
I can't. It's hard to do squares. Sorry, but all right. So Benjamin Cohen says, as I mentioned on YouTube the last couple of days, I expect a bounce after the SPX, which is the S&P 500, sweeps the low from a year ago, which happened today. So another chart by the legend himself, Benjamin Cohen. Dude, I'm just going to trade off him for now on. If he says I'm okay to buy stuff, I'm just gonna watch his videos and do what he says, because this man is always right. So this is something he's been calling for the S&P. He not only does Bitcoin and stuff, he also does into the macroverse, and that's where he covers the S&P and stuff like that. So he was calling for this long time ago, and we officially same thing happened with the ETH, right? It hit his target and went lower. With a kind of a bounce up there again, so we're back up here. But he officially was right again. He was saying we need to go back, and he was right. I mean, it's hard to say that when you're up here, right? It's hard to say, hey, we're going to hit 49. Everyone's calling him crazy when we're at 62, and he's telling everyone we're going to hit 49 again. But I mean, you know, as long as you doubt the man, he's more often than right than not.
Yeah. So was this pullback needed regardless of the tariffs and all that stuff?
Probably. I mean, look at this. This is just they had a bull market that we really didn't participate in.
This pullback was needed. If this pullback was needed, then really, I feel like the tariff, yes, it does seem extreme in terms of what is actually being, the reciprocal tariff percentage for each country that has been given.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like this pullback was needed in general, right? So once you have like the only way to really do that is to stir up the system. You know what I mean? Because like if let's say like this globalism continued just to go up or whatever, but then like you have this house of cards with like how each country kind of participates in this globalistic kind of economy, right? This globalism economy, and then eventually at some point it's going to catch up to you. So what he's doing right now is kind of just really just mixing it up and disrupting the system, and it causes something similar to like the COVID crash, right? But it pulls back, and every time this happens, that there's a drastic pullback in the stock market, there's always a big opportunity reset. If you look at the history, and but it's easy to just have your short-term goggles on. And that's what I think we're all seeing on crypto Twitter and the news, mainstream news and stuff like that right now.
I mean, you're 100% right. I mean, I've been saying it for a long time. The whales and the elite and the rich, they do not buy rips. They were not buying this. This is all retail. They buy dips, right? Retail is probably all in here. They don't have money to really buy this dip, but this is what the big boys live for. This is why they study the macro. This is why they study the economy. This is why they hire people to do this shit for them, right? Is because this is the opportunities that they wait for, they long for. And potentially they could be longing this as we speak, right? So
yeah, but this one probably threw off some of the even better people, right? Like that are in the market, like the Bill Ackmans and stuff like that. Like maybe they wanted a little bit more of notice, like in their mind, because it went from kind of like 100 to 0 pretty quick in terms of the S&P. Now the S&P was rough the past couple of weeks, regardless, right? It was kind of choppy with a little bit downtrend, but like
I mean, it was a lot. It was down for the most part, right? I mean, since I want to say what's this? Probably like March, April, right? So I'm sorry, February, March.
Yeah. So we'll see if this is like a bunch of acting or what, from like people like Bill Ackman and other people that are getting hit right now.
Well, I mean, it's probably sucks to be a money manager right now, but the people who were just investors, the people who, I mean, they're probably loving this, right? The Warren Buffetts of the world, the Kathy Woods of the world, the people who always have cash on the sidelines for opportunities like this.
Yeah, and it's like whenever like the rates, the mortgage rates like go up, and you're like a big loan officer for your city or something, that sucks because like now. You know that like business is not going to be hot for a certain amount of time, and you got to figure things out and stuff like that. But eventually, you know that like that business will come back once the markets readjust. So,
all right, last thing here before the fear and greed: $200 million was liquidated between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. this morning because of what happened. So 200 million. So it went like this, liquidated the shorts, and then it went like this and liquidated the longs. Manipulated, dude. I mean, come on. The only people that win in this is the exchanges, right? I mean,
well, I do think it was manipulated. I think it was manipulated for that headline of, the administration's pausing tariffs for 90 days. Whoever put that out, man, they got to figure out who does these things, because like people lose hundreds of millions of dollars, like, cumulatively. But that's what did it. That's what really did the up down, because you and I were prepping for the show, and all of a sudden you're like, what the heck's happening? It got to 80. And I was like, oh, we're rebounding, and it sucks because then right after that just liquidated on the downside. So,
and the thing was, it took like 10 minutes for us to figure out what was happening, right? Like that's not normal. Like we usually know pretty quickly, right? For the fact that none of these places were putting out the news, should have been clear to us that it was being manipulated, because like normally Watcher Guru, who is really quick with news, Cointelegraph again, really quick with news, everyone didn't report on this, but something was happening, which was really weird, right? I never experienced anything like that where we were looking for what was going on. We see it in the price action, we just don't see it anything anywhere else. All right. It's kind of getting to that fear and greed. So last week we're at a 34. Yesterday we're also at a 34. And I'm struggling with giving you a hint here, but we are in the low 20s.
22.
Pretty close, 23.
Nice.
So yeah, so you're right there. What are you expecting for today? Are you expecting us to get back in the 30s, or are you kind of expecting us to kind of sit here in the 20s?
No, not the 30s, unless there's some
Yeah.
big like news announcement. But maybe 25. I wouldn't be shocked if we stay at like 24 or 25.
Yeah.
Best case 26, 27. But yeah, I'm gauging off of really the price action,
Yeah.
of Bitcoin and the S&P. So that's why I think maybe 24, 25.
Yeah, man. All right. Let's get into that Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura. Artura.finance is the website you guys should all be going to right now. You guys should be going there and doing the paper trading competition on Botonics, the testnet. So all you got to do is make one trade. And I highly recommend doing Tau, if not XRP or Ethereum. Stay away from Bitcoin because that's going to get you probably the most potential to kind of get yourself into that area of raffle and winning it. Right. So that we do know that they're going to be going live on mainnet very soon, probably within the next month or so, maybe a little longer, but they're going to be on Hemi, and Hemi is actually backed by Binance. And what Binance is going to offer potentially is a listing of Hemi, and you actually can get the Hemi token potentially in an airdrop by using Artura.finance on mainnet and potentially earning the Artura token as well. So this is win-win for you. So I wouldn't sleep on this. I would play with the testnet as soon as possible, and then mainnet I would grind, I would farm, I would get on that, and but don't wait. Start doing it today. Artura.finance.
Yep. And guys, I'm going to ask you again, like I do every day, if you could help us out on the YouTube side, smash that like, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. And on the X side, guys, let's share this space so we can educate, onboard as many people to crypto and the Bitcoin ecosystem as possible. Lastly, on the abstract side, guys, if you could share that stream as well, we greatly appreciate it. Let's get into some Bitcoin price action. And before we do that, I am using TradingView again because they are working on the charts on the Artura side, but let's jump into this. But before we get into the actual price action, I would say there was a post by Trump basically saying that if China doesn't retreat, pull back the 34% tariffs that they added on top of their current tariffs, that he's going to impose 50% tariff effective April 9th. So there's definitely some trade kind of back and forth, could go into full-blown trade war with China. But he's also saying every other country that's approached them, they're going to have meetings right away, but he's going to cancel China's meetings if they don't remove that. So I say that before we get into this price action, because for me, something like that's happening right now, leverage is not even on the table for me. Like, not even a thought. Like, for me personally, I'm just kind of sitting back because it's so volatile. One news report shoots it up, one news report just crushes you. So for me, I am definitely being patient as possible until we see stability. But let's get into some Bitcoin price action, because that's what this segment is about. And let's take a look here on the 1 hour chart. And we are having a little bit of a bounce back, right? We got as low as 74,000.
I know it went that low.
2 a.m. Central Time this morning, but that was anticipation, and the S&P was also like crumbling as well. So Bitcoin obviously follows. Let's stop with the decoupling, or let's we got with the whole decoupling thing. Look, we got to give it at least like a month, guys. Like, you can't do it after a couple days. And believe me, like, you want to be bullish, but no more of that. Let's not do that anymore. Anyhow, you can see here that the bounce back has happened, though, right? And then we had that fake out with that headline. It got all the way back to 81 this morning. But then the reports were that nobody in Washington knows what anybody's talking about with the pause of the tariffs, which to me, I think is a good thing. We talked about that earlier. Let's just kind of get through it and move, have a forward-looking type of period here. But anyways, for the second half of today, it's really going to be choppy, in my opinion. If the China retaliates back and says, okay, we don't care, and now we have 50% tariffs, expect this to bomb even further, right? Because you have to remember the number one manufacturer for U.S. goods is China right now. So that's why I'm saying be careful. Be careful whatever you do. That's all I'll say. So the leading indicators don't mean anything to me right now, except for, the choppiness. If there's going to just be choppiness, stability is what we're looking for, right? And we just don't have that right now, right? So I really expect choppiness, and then really what comes out of kind of those back and forth shots being fired between China and the U.S. is really, in my opinion, going to determine if we go down further with an intense kind of volatility down, and then how we retaliate and all that stuff. So just keep your eye on the news. That's what the most important thing. So that's what I'm seeing here for the hour, and then the 4 hour, same thing, guys. Like, I mean, we're not really going to get much in terms of, what we think is going to happen for the rest of the day. Yes, these indicators can kind of help you guide just going back, because we dipped so hard, right? So we do have a ways to go to get back to the 50-day EMA, though, on the 4 hour chart, which I hope we do crawl back there, because I'm going to show you something here on the weekly chart soon that's going to be very important. But yeah, 4 hour chart, it's really going to determine, that same situation. How does China retaliate to that statement that was put out there? I really think that, the markets are kind of waiting for a response on that. But like the indicators say that we're getting a little bit exhausted from the sell down. I will say that. But so if there is some good news, let's say that they do remove the 34% tariffs that they added, this could really, move things violently. But again, I don't care about that. What I want is the world to start normalizing what's happening, and the only thing that can happen with that is time. And so we need time to kind of, I guess, like, realize that we're in a new kind of trade order. I think for the next at least 3 years. So anyways, so that's what I'm seeing there on the 4 hour. This chart right here is really important. So this is the weekly chart for Bitcoin. So we've been watching this, right? We had 2 good weeks to kind of start off March with, and then a couple of bad ones that pulled us back. Now we are actually officially have closed weekly candles in the channel of the 50-day EMA. So the thing I'm looking at here is, do we end a week below? Actually, technically, the candle is below the 50-day EMA channel. If that happens, I think we are, not in a good situation. The last time that's happened coming from the upside down was in January of 2022. We know what happened in the following months. This is when people did not want to accept that we were in a bear market, is whenever Bitcoin was going down to below 40K, and we had so much opportunity in DeFi. Still, there were still ecosystems in DeFi that were producing billion-dollar shit coins during this period. And so what happened was it dropped, it finalized a candle below the 50-day EMA. And then we had a couple more months. And then what happened? The war with Russia, Ukraine. And then we had Luna. We had all those, events happen until we just crashed really hard, right? So that's why it's important. But this doesn't mean that we're headed there. I actually don't think we are. I think we kind of maintain inside this channel here, and then rise back above for, that bounce back. The M2 money supply is a really good indicator. And so, but let's just say something crazy happens and we go through, but it's like a World War III or something. Mm-hmm. Then I think that's the only situations where I would feel like, okay, we could actually get below this channel during this period. Eventually we will get below it, but hopefully it's after a Q4 rise up, bounce back. I do think we're going to have that bounce back. I think we're going to follow the M2 money supply. I think we're going to do all that stuff. It's too early, in my opinion, to form a candle below here, because if we do, technically, a lot of people are saying that that's really the start of the bear market, right? So something just for you guys to kind of think about. Going to the others, obviously, this is not going to look great. This is the weekly for the others, everything outside of the top 10 and Bitcoin. Huge red candle there. We are starting to see a little bit of a bounce back here. But this is really going to, follow Bitcoin in those top 10 majors eventually. So kind of the same thing, right? I'm not really as worried about this chart. Yes, like I want this to bounce back, but this kind of follows into like we need Ethereum to kind of come out of the top part of the house that they're in. Then this will follow through. So just something for you guys to also think about. And the last thing we'll hit on is I didn't want to bring up bad news here, but like you can see the crypto bubble chart of the weekly does not look good, but some things that really stick out. There's one thing that sticks out here, and let's see if it's bounced back. It's actually in the top 100. I believe it's in the top 100. Is it higher? I'm looking for the one that everybody's talking about. This guy right here, Fartcoin, up 11.8%. I don't know why. There's got to be some insider fart trading happening here. No, that was it. But I mean, it's just a little humor. Fartcoin is up while everything else is red. But yeah, I won't linger on that too much, like a fart does.
It's a lingerer, man. It's a lingerer.
Lingerer.
Yeah. I gotta say, it's probably one of the best memes. It's actually funny, right? Like, I have a problem with memes that aren't funny, right? Like I enjoy a good meme.
Simple though, right? It's like Fartcoin.
Fartcoin. It's genius. It's like my son's 10. Like that's his humor, right? He would love a coin called Fartcoin. If I was like, you could invest in Bitcoin or Fartcoin, a million percent, he's choosing Fartcoin, right?
Yeah.
So. All right. Let's kind of get into it. So it does look like the Reaper came last night.
Oh no,
because at 8:42 a.m. was this one. So unless that was yesterday, was it yesterday? 8:42 a.m. yesterday? Yeah, it might have been yesterday. Yeah. Okay. So Lackey Lukey, shout out to you, my friend. You are number one. It is your 7th win of the year. Congratulations to you. Killing it, man. Absolutely killing it. You're gonna probably be up there with Danny Boy and Glasshopper. Glasshopper got his second win yesterday, and then but the Webdro, the man, the myth, the legend, hasn't won since March 25th. It's been his longest drought of the year. Curious when he gets back, but Danny's just been killing it. Danny's always number 1 or number 2 all week. He's just giving it sometimes, but yeah. So 13 for Danny, 13 for Webdro, 7 for Lackey Lukey. Lackey Lukey officially takes 3rd place over ASAP Benji. This is going to be really cool to see how this maps out, but yeah, plenty of time. If you have not made this yet, don't worry. You can still win this. I mean, we still have like, I want to say at least 200 days left. So plenty of time, guys. Lackey Lukey said, I'm back. Matt said number 2. Glasshopper said, let's go. Webdro was right there, Webdro. Malam Yuri is there. Let's go. Danny Boy, Mr. Hanky, the Christmas poo. He loves me and I love you. He says, Banana Zone, let's effing go. PJNZ says, Shizzy, my bag's not doing so well, man. No way, man. Not like this. He also says, now NZ, which is what country?
New Zealand.
Ended daylight savings. So your show starts at 3 a.m. Oh, no. So I may not make so many lives. I'm sorry, man.
So wait, hold on. I don't know, but he was watching at 2 a.m. Wow, dude. I got to give you props on that. That's crazy.
Or he was watching at 4.
Yeah,
it depends which way, right?
So wait, daylight savings. So then would you pull back?
Ended. Yeah, you pull back at
okay. So maybe he wakes up at 4 for his job.
Yeah,
maybe that's
or just to watch us because our show's that good. No, I'm just fine. Shout out to PJNZ. Gonna miss you, peanut butter jelly time. 3 a.m. isn't so bad to watch a YouTube show, I guess. I'm just kidding. Danny Boy says, oof. Yeah, that sucks, PJNZ. All my bags are down too. But my Teddy's holding strong. Just a bad price down a bit. Black Monday 2.0. Yeah, man. And then we have Cheaty says, what's up, guys? It's our guy Cheaty. Shout out to you, my friend. Couldn't look at my bags earlier today, but I had some generational entries in some other assets.
Nice.
I've been eyeing for a while. Yeah, if you have money on the sideline, bro, you are looking like a bandit right now, just stealing from the market. Cheaty says virtuals might likely make a comeback with the ACP thing they're building out. Yeah, I'm a little bearish on virtuals.
Like ACP, do you know what that is?
Not really. I haven't really heard
Yeah, I
anything
gotta
about
look in.
that.
Gotta look into that. Maybe it's a big like game changer, but I gotta look into that
Yeah,
because they need a game changer in my opinion. So,
I agree.
you know, especially with like what Tao's doing and stuff. Like it's just launching agents and stuff. To me, is not gonna cut it. Like you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is my opinion.
Yep. Super fans of GM Jim. What's up, my guy? He's a PG&Z. I appreciate the Matrix quote. Yeah, man. Chief Axel is here. Shout out to Chief Axel every single day. Mice Elf said 5 monthly red candles in a row in alts. My poor portfolio. But I didn't realize that. 5 monthly red candles. That is crazy.
Ooh,
Pat, is
yeah,
that bad?
yeah. I mean, it doesn't look good. Yeah, he's right. 5 monthly in a row. Well, the second one was the smallest one, but they all red.
Yeah,
They
for
all
sure.
red. That sucks.
Mike Self said the Fed ain't tightening. The Fed hasn't hiked since 2023. Yeah, I don't think we've said that. I said the potentially the Fed could stop tightening, right?
Yeah.
So that's I think that's what I'm looking forward to today. It actually might be out by now because it's 20 minutes into their meeting, but we'll see. Danny Boy says GM. I'll be right back. Got an appointment. Hard to have a decent amount of dry powder these days. I mean, if you bought the
It
dip and
is.
then buy the dip and then buy the dip and then buy the dip, you're eventually going to not be able to buy the next one. So that's kind of my position. Mr. Sheedy, shout out to you, my friend. He said, "What's up? What's up? Happy Monday. Happy Monday to
Hey.
you too, Mr. Sheedy. So glad to see you here, man. Appreciate you, my friend, and everything you do for this ecosystem." Myself says, "I love discounts. I am a bargain shopper. Keep dipping. I'll buy more. I wish I had the money that myself has. One day, myself, I'll be as rich as you, where I can buy a dip that has dipped 9 times prior." Mr. Sheedy says, "I'm still wondering about that left leaning cycle." Yeah, that's I think that's out of here. I think we're all kind of thinking on a right cycle, a right leaning cycle, which means a lot of sideways, but a lot of more up movement to come, right? I think we can kind of push the left translated cycle out of the range here.
Uh, Definitely, if we are going to experience any sort of like good situation, I mean,
Yeah.
even if we have a blow off the top Q4 and it ends there, I just don't see a blow off the top ending right then and that's it. Like it's still probably linger until like at least Q1 next year. So yeah, that original left translated, I think, is out of the picture.
I mean, the only way it would stay in effect if we stay at 108's the top, right? You could say if 108's the top, then it was a left translated cycle, right?
That would be horrible. Oh
Yeah,
God.
no, I agree. Nocturnal says, "What's good, Nocturnal? It's been a while, my friend. Thank you so much for
Honey
copping in, and
badgers.
thank Honey Badgers. Let's go. Yeah, and thank you all for coming in. I appreciate every single person here, and you guys make the roll call every single day. And if you're just a listener, I know there's a lot of you guys out there. Please just come in, press that like button for us, and just throw a comment in there. It really helps us, and I would love to shout out your name, and appreciate you. And then one day I'm gonna look back and be like, this person didn't make the bear market roll call, but I'm definitely gonna make it worth for you guys for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that is it. Let's kind of get into the next thing we have here. All right. So me and you, we're lucky enough to talk to some really smart people around the space. We're lucky enough to have meetings with some really, really intelligent people. And one of the guys, we're not going to mention who, but they were kind of telling us that they're starting to cut the fat, and they're starting to cut assets that they've had for a long time going into 2023. And maybe they round tripped some of these assets, and they're starting to cut those assets down and looking forward to the future, looking forward to adding the fire or adding new assets that could run and do 5, 10, 20, 100x, right? What are you thinking right now on those lines of cutting the fat and adding the fire? What would you say the definition is for you?
The definition is to a little bit of consolidation, getting rid of some of these assets that don't like have, I guess, like they don't have a future where they're going to be in the spotlight, in the near future even. And that's hard to say because there's like, there's a lot of assets that even if they still have potential and some of them will do well, but
Yeah.
they don't have the just, I guess, kind of getting into like a risk off mindset a little bit, right? But going into stuff that might be newer or just extremely stable, right? And obviously, stable right now in our space at all is not easy to find. But
Right.
stuff like that's new and stable to me is something like Tau, right?
Yeah.
So maybe getting out of like the meme stuff, more, picking one winner, two winners max of that whole category, and really going more towards obviously Bitcoin. Ethereum is it's getting into that bottoming point. Some other blue chips, and then the new stuff is the fire, in my opinion. The Tau, the Hyperliquid, maybe they're going through some stuff, but researching and seeing what some of this new stuff is, whether that's like Sonic or stuff like that. But that's the stuff, in my opinion, that's kind of I look at as the fire.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. For me, it's maybe cutting your Ordi bags, cutting your dog bags, cutting your maybe cutting your Sats, cutting your bitmap bags, and kind of getting into stuff like Sonic, getting into projects that are building in DeFi, maybe getting into projects like you mentioned Tau, getting into some of those. I mean, to me right now, buying Tau at under $200 is like buying Bitcoin under $200. I think one day we're gonna look back and Tau's over 100 grand. I think Bitcoin's going to be like, a couple $1 million when this happens. But I think in the next, 10 years, Tau is going to be like pushing up between 70, 80, 90,000. Yeah, remember every 4 years, Tau goes through a very similar halving cycle. Bitcoin never really had anything like Tau had, though, as now, because of the dynamic Tau tokens, where it's all they are is staked Tau. I mean, there's staked Tau that is going to be staked potentially forever, because it has to be, because to get these alpha tokens, right? So this is something that I think the Tau people are really, really smart in doing. I mean, the better the alpha tokens do, the better Tau does. And I think Tau is $200, and I'm seeing a top of $7 grand this cycle, and potentially in 4 years, potentially 70,000. That's what kind of I'm thinking, and I think buying right now is very similar to buying Bitcoin under $200.
Yeah. And so, I agree with you, what you say with Tau, like and plus with the AI narrative, and it'll just continually, like, I think like the subnets and stuff are gonna eventually be like really big resources for other companies, and they'll be companies themselves in the future. But another thing too, kind of going back to, like you said, like Ordi and stuff like that, people might be like, well, Ordi, they've sustained all this stuff. But the thing, okay, for me, like, the stuff that I'm going to hold on to that I bought, like, let's say the past 2 years, they have to have a really strong reason for me to hold on to them, like a chain token ecosystem, something like Merle. I'll hold on to that because there's an ecosystem, there's a chain, there's partnerships with BNB, stuff that's constantly happening. Stacks, similarly, right there, they're building over there. But with something like Ordi, it's based upon like a community or a community of whales that have been pushing it really. And then whenever that pulls back, they're going to come out of that because there's not like that much foundation. I think Ordi actually does well in the future because it's maintained like this market cap, right? And it's established, it's on Binance, blah, 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 whatever you want to say. But like, I would cut that for something that has like it's a gas token, or it's being worked in different ecosystems and stuff like that. So just to kind of clear that part up. But yeah, I agree with you. Something like Tau is going to be like an amazing opportunity, or it is right now, in my opinion, because of the dynamics that it has with the subnets and the alpha tokens and stuff like that, like researching stuff like that. For me, virtuals could it could bounce back, but there's a little bit of risk to it because there's several subnets on Tau that are doing what virtuals does, but they want to do it in a more substantive way, right? For example, they don't want to just have a bunch of AI memes launched, right? They want to have like AI purposeful like projects launched within their launch pad or whatever, right? So I think there's going to be levels of that. But this is not easy, to determine. There's some stuff that could be easy, determine cut off this fat and stuff like that. But you're going to get into situations where you're like, okay, what do I do here and here? And that's going to go into your research and what you determine of your own strategy.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe take, like, for me, it would just be going through each asset, right, and just saying, is this the right one for me? Is this like, do I truly believe in this, right? Like I think get out of the cult mindset. Don't marry a meme coin. Trade it, right? Never want to marry a meme coin. You want to trade it. I mean, there was in the past opportunities for you to marry a meme coin like Doge or Shiba, but I think those days are past. Fart coin might be one of them, but like you want to kind of, the chances of you marrying a meme coin and it staying relevant for 4 years are very slim, right? It happens, but it's very slim. It just be aware. Most meme coins will go to zero, and there will always be another one and another one and another one, right? Pump Fund makes 12,000 new ones every day. So just be prepared to look at every asset and ask yourself, or do you truly believe in that asset? And maybe it's time to get into things like utility, right? Things that are actually here to make a difference in crypto, right? Maybe it's time to leave some of the meme coins in the past and get into real projects like that are building DeFi on Sonic, projects that are building AI on Tau, projects that, maybe I don't even know about yet. Maybe it's something that you came across and you're like, wow, this is really game changing. And you can potentially cut some of the fat, because that's kind of where we're at now. We don't have money to keep buying, but we can trade things, cut things on one side and add to another. And I think that now is the time to be doing that for sure.
Yep, I agree.
All right. It is Monday at 12 p.m. And you guys who've been following us for a long time know that is officially Merlin Monday. Merlin Chain, they're doing some really, really amazing things with AI as well. They are actually creating the Wizard AI. Right now it's 0.1, but 0.2 and 0.3 are on the way. These are really, really big updates. Jeff was telling us about them last week. They're going to really allow some new things to happen on Merlin Chain, and it's gonna be really cool to see. It's really awesome watching Merlin Chain really grow and really adapt to this new era that we're in, right?
Yeah, I agree, and not just the AI part, but working with the BNB, right, BSC chain, and constantly having partnerships, and don't forget about like the liquidity capital with MBTC, branding that. There's so many different things, and that was kind of what I was talking about earlier, right? Like something like Ordi is kind of like you're really basing it upon like whale communities or regular communities to continue that. So it's exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of exciting stuff here the next 6 to 12 months as well with the ecosystem there.
Yeah, and Merlin Chain is pivoting towards integrating AI with Bitcoin Layer 2, positioning itself as the bridge between Bitcoin security and AI innovation. The strategy highlights Bitcoin as a storage and challenge layer, Merlin as an execution layer, and a comprehensive infrastructure for AI-powered dApps, right? So really looking forward to today's conversation with Jeff. Let's bring him up. Jeff, welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Hey. So how you feeling? How you feeling with Black Monday is what people are kind of calling it, but Bitcoin seems to be holding up a little bit. Do you feel okay, first of all?
Yeah, I think most people are expecting a huge step back and then go up, but nobody. The tricky part is nobody know which hit is the last hit. So I mean, we hope today's hit will be the last hit for the crypto market. We hope Mr. Trump can change the market sentiment. But yeah, I think everybody's expecting that. You just don't know which one, like which day is the last hit. I think if you look at history, 2020 March 12th, whoever bought Bitcoin at that time, made a lot of money along the way. Basically didn't go below to 3K anymore. Swear to God, to be honest, that day was like very like unforgettable for me too, because that day I actually mortgaged something, like put some of my assets in the bank and then get some cash out and start to buy more Bitcoin after that day. And I feel happy every day for that. So I think right now the market is waiting for the last hit. Even if today Bitcoin went to like 65K, it's not a huge bad thing, because like okay, that's the bottom. So everything you buy starting from here is good for you. The worst thing is like I think what happened like in 2022 is it goes lower and lower and lower, and then you just keep going lower. That's the worst part.
So you're telling me to mortgage my house? No, I'm just kidding. But okay, so obviously there's like this current shift, or they're trying to make it seem like there's this current shift with like the global trade kind of order and all that stuff. Do you think that like globalism kind of changing, will that negatively affect Bitcoin in the long run or positively affect it? What are your thoughts?
I think like starting last year, Bitcoin is in a very good trend, which means more and more institutions and even government are starting to buy Bitcoin, and also because right now people don't know what happened with all this tariff things around the world. People don't know if China or US will have a worse and worse like relationship in the future. People don't know about the US like the national bonds are going to pay off, or they just waive everything and not pay all the other countries. So I think all this uncertainty is good for Bitcoin, because because like when I was young, when we started to buy Bitcoin at that time, we compare Bitcoin with gold, because when bad thing happens in the war, with the war and stuff, gold price will go up to all-time high. And now if you see like for the past few months, the gold is actually reaching like the all-time high, and Bitcoin is kind of stable comparing to the Nasdaq. So I think with more institutions and government can buy Bitcoin and people consider Bitcoin as a risk reverse asset, I think that would be a great thing. But I cannot say what happened to other assets, other crypto assets, because you basically see all the meme coins and altcoins are doing really bad. like especially in Bitcoin ecosystem, you see already sats, stock, all these tokens are doing really bad. I mean, actually, if you look at Merle, I think Merle is doing much better comparing to other tokens. I think like about 1 or 2 months ago, Merle is not like #1 FDV for the for Merle, but right now I think Merle is like double the value of Dog, Sats, kind of close to double to already and stuff. So yeah, I just pick the right asset. I think in long term, crypto is still like bullish in my mind.
Gotcha.
Yeah, 100%. And like today's title of the show is cutting the fat and adding the fire. We think like adding the like newer assets, and maybe kind of going through your portfolio and kind of looking at assets that maybe have already ran, maybe you've already done that giant leap up and trying to get into new assets. How do you feel about that plan? How do you feel about potentially maybe looking at some of your stuff and being like, hey, maybe this isn't the one I truly believe in anymore?
Yeah, because I think right now it's very hard to pick what to buy, because first you don't know if that's the bottom. Second is you don't know if that narrative is still going to be popular in the next few years, because if you start to buy like staking, restaking, DeFi in 2023, and like Ethereum, like all of that narratives are going like down and down. Like right now, Ethereum is like basically the bear market price in 2022. So.
Yeah.
It's really, really bad. So I think that's like the hardest part. But for me, I always like, I think I said that thing like last, like May, June with you guys last year. It's time to clear your portfolio, just sell everything you can. And then, when you're down selling them, you can pick which you want to buy. If you want to buy them back, that's the good asset. So for example, if right now I sell all my assets already and Dog, and then I realize, okay, I won't put the money into Dog again, that means the right asset. So I think at least you need to clear your portfolio and then pick 1, 2, 3. Don't pick more, because you don't have the time and effort to track all this information. Just pick a few and then wait and see. I think right now we need patience.
Yeah.
So you're kind of asking yourself that question, would I buy here? Right? Even if you're already holding it, you're still questioning yourself, will I buy here? And then that way it's easy for you to kind of go out and kind of look at it and be like, is this a good time? And if you feel that way, then you're holding that asset, and
just
that
sell
it's the right
everything
one for you.
first. Yeah, sell everything first, because I think the worst part is like people like us, we don't speculate on daily basis, but we have too many portfolios, and you just forget about it. And when you don't sell, basically you don't actually interact with that community anymore. So you better just sell them.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense actually, because it kind of forces you to hit the reset button, and then if like naturally if your mind goes towards, oh, I see something over here, the one I just sold. There's a reason why you're back in it, meaning that you're probably your intuition, you're using your gut at that point, and then you still offloaded everything else that you wouldn't lose on. So yeah, I think I'm gonna probably start doing that more, because actually it makes sense, you know what I mean? Because it gives you almost a clear mind too, right? So,
Yeah, because right now, if you still hold, like for example, if you still hold sats, you might force yourself, to feel bullish about sats. But when you're down, when you sell them all, you don't feel connected to each asset. Then you are using your mind, not emotion, to pick.
dude, that's some
That's
obvious
next level, bro.
It's like obvious alpha, but like no one thinks that way. You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree with that. I think that's really smart.
I want to get your opinion on something, Jeff. So this right here, this is the ETH Bitcoin chart. This is the Bitcoin, the ETH price against Bitcoin, and this is something Benjamin Cohen was saying for a long time. The ETH has to go home, and he was calling the home to be between 0.02 and 0.01, and we've just entered here. Do you think potentially, if you're holding Bitcoin, to maybe it's time to get an ETH, or you don't think it's the time yet?
I think that's a very hard question, because to me, I think ETH makes a lot of sense. ETH is the one brings actual innovation. I know Bitcoin Maxi will hate me for this, but ETH is the one who brings actual innovation into crypto. If without ETH smart contract, what the hell are we doing like here, right? We just buy Bitcoin and then sleep. So I would never buy ETH at this moment. But I think looking at some protocols with Web3 innovation, I think might help, because what I hate is, like 3 to 6 months ago, everybody's buying memes and they just call themselves, cult, memes, like super cycle is everything. But then it turned out, most of the memes just, don't have community or don't even make sense.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this question. You have two. Let's just say you have Bitcoin. You have two options: hold that Bitcoin or sell that Bitcoin for ETH right now. Which one gets you the best return?
Oh, I think always balance. Always balance.
Okay.
Like if you actually have a lot of Bitcoin, you should balance like 10-20% to 20%. For other, like even Solana. Solana is below $100.
Yeah.
I mean, I would buy some Solana right now.
Ooh,
love it, man.
Everything's on sale. All right. Okay, so let's get into some Merlin stuff here. Obviously, you guys have kind of added more and more substance to Merlin chain, and you continually add more value to the actual token itself. But one of the things that you guys did was you added like an AI component to the chain, and so the wizard point, I think it's 0.01 is already out there, and then 0.02 and 0.03 are coming. Could you talk a little bit about what those are gonna how that's gonna change the experience, I guess, with the wizard?
Yeah. So I think we merged 0.2 and 0.3 into one version, and we'll release that version shortly. The function will be, right now you can ask the wizard something and they will respond to you. But the new version will be, you can ask him about the data from chain, because most users don't check the chain explorer, or it's very hard to understand. So if you ask him about like data, what is the TVL for the LP right now? What is the TVL for the lending protocol? How many holders for this token are the whales, selling, or are they buying? So if you ask him all these kinds of questions, it will give you the data from the explorer. And the other function would be, doing some very, very frequent actions, such as like, bridging, bridge out, trade, lend, borrow, stake on chain. So if you're trying to do these actions, you can just tell the wizard to do so for you. So it will generate the transaction for you, and you just need to check the details and then hit the signature button on your wallet. So I think that's the new version. Basically, it just helps you with most things you are interacting with the chain. Like right now, like I think only two things I interact with the Merlin chain, to be honest. First is to trade. So sometimes I want to buy more of this token or that token. The second is checking the on-chain data, because I want to know, so like right now, only 65 million Merlin token is in the OKX address. Probably this data, most people don't know that. that's the data I check every day on the Explorer, because I want to know if are people withdrawing their tokens to chain and to stake on chain. And that number was like 3-4 times higher 3 months ago. So you don't need to check the Explorer again. You just need to ask the wizard, and he will tell you everything about this.
I love that. It's actually going to make my life a little easier, because like for me, I like to check like a P&L, right? So this is kind of perfect with that. I can tell, hey, at what price did I do this? Because for me, I struggle with explorers. Like I'm not the best. Sometimes they get like, you really have to dig for the research that you want, the information that you're looking for. But with something like this is really cool. I just type in a few words and then just wait, and then boom, I'll get that response, and I can get the P&L for my data.
Yeah, and so like. And most people don't even know like what is behind this address, right? Because like if I want to ask you what's the address for the OKX and what's the address for the Bybit,
Yeah,
I mean I know the address, but most people don't know about this.
You know the address by heart, the last 4.
Yeah, I remember. Like I think I remember over like 100, 200 address on Merlin, because I track them every day. Yeah.
Goodness,
dude, I can barely remember my addresses, and I got like 6 or 7.
Yeah. You'd probably be really good at spelling bee, which I was not good at. But anyways, yeah, that's awesome. I love that. You guys will probably have one of the first chain AIs that is able to do that, right? So that's really good that you guys kind of front ran people on this. And then once it gets to the point to where it can actually trade like in a conditional manner, that's when I'm going to be really excited and probably utilize it from my standpoint. But is there anything else about the AI that maybe people should look forward to?
Yeah, because right now we only ship the product, but actually, what matters is under the product is, the framework, the structure, if that structure can be open sourced and used by other teams. So actually, right now, many teams are using the AI infrastructure made by Merlin, but because we don't have that, branding for that infrastructure, so people don't, like tweet about this. We don't have partnerships with other teams about this. So we are thinking about to ship the infrastructure as its own branding, like Merlin AI, something like that, and then other teams first they can use this like permissionlessly, and second is we will ask the teams to disclose they're using our service at least, so we can do more partnership, branding, PR about this. So I think that's the thing we're thinking about to do.
Awesome. So that's more of like builder to builder B2B kind of situation, right? But yeah, so the data and stuff that's going to help the UX in the future. So I'm excited about it. Yeah, it's awesome. Can't wait.
I'm just curious, has there been any internal talks with you and your team about potentially using the wizard to kind of maybe use my Xverse or my Unisat? Like if I, in the future, obviously you guys aren't there yet, but potentially saying, hey, bridge my Bitcoin in my Unisat wallet to my Merlin chain wallet. Is that something potentially I'm going to be able to do on Merlin?
Yeah, that's the 0.3 version. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is the same
That's
version.
Awesome. Yeah. So that'd be awesome, because that for me, it's like, oh yeah, I'll be over on Merlin and realize I don't have enough Bitcoin. I'm like, now crap, I gotta bridge some over or withdraw something and change it. So yeah, I would love that aspect of being able to just have the AI do it for me.
Yeah, or using the Universal X, using your stablecoin.
Universal X, yeah.
Because I think even wait for like 3 blocks.
Yeah, Universal. Yeah. I think Universal X is going to be a big used platform in the future once more and more people learn about it. But yeah, it's going to be exciting stuff. How are you guys doing with the kind of the BNB integration kind of partnership? Is that still going pretty smooth?
Yeah, I think right now we have about 6 to 8 million. I need to check numbers, but definitely over 6 million tokens bridge over to BNB chain. So there are like lots of, I think right now they are doing the trading competition. There's over 13,000 addresses are trading on the Pancake swap with the Merl token. So basically we expand more users interacting with the Merl token. And if you actually go there, trade, you will find out, the MEV bots are actually hedging, the CX, DX, price. They're doing MEV sandwich stuff, with the trade. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. Getting more people involved with the token. like if you don't have Merle token right now, you probably don't even care what I'm talking about, right? So you need to have the asset first, and then have the patience to understand, trying to understand what's going on over there. So I think that is the purpose of this trading commission. I think it's ending in like a week. So I think the first stage is pretty successful, and no matter you are becoming LP or you trade there, you will get some incentives. The bridge gives incentives as well. So yeah, I think we will keep doing that more and more in the future. And also, bridging to BNB chain is helpful for us to get listed on more exchanges as well, because many exchanges, no matter big or small ones, they don't have the tech resources to integrate a new chain, so they can just list BNB deposit, and that's it.
Yeah.
Love it. My final question for you would be like, let's just say I was a project, I was building an EVM, right? One of the main things I'm looking at Merlin, right, is because of the wizard. If I was a project and I don't have any AI experience and I want to build on Merlin and potentially use your AI, is that something you guys can help integrate? So there's a project out there.
Yeah, that's why we need to ship the infrastructure, on brand. So you can go to GitHub, check everything you want. You'll be some APIs, because some data are not free, so you can apply for the APIs to get the data, not only from Merlin chain, but also from from Twitter, from social media, from CEX, from DX, from other chains. We're not building the infra just for the data of Merlin chain, because Merlin is a new chain, right? But you need some data from Ethereum, BNB chain, Bitcoin layer 1, all that stuff we can provide to you. So yeah, that's why I said we need to ship this like own brand, own infrastructure, so people can check this out. And no matter which chain you're on, you're trying to build the product, you can use that solution.
Love it. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm just looking at CoinMarketCap too. I mean, you guys are on 50 different platforms, and as you know, like volume is a really good indicator. You guys are still doing good volume, and PancakeSwap is on there, so I expect for that volume to increase as well. And yeah, so definitely the future looks good, for Merlin token in that aspect as well. Is there anything that we haven't hit on yet, you want to go over for the audience and possibly some Merlin token holders or just the community in general?
Yeah, I think one more thing is we closed investment round in March, and we are aiming to do another round late April or early May, because we add new functions, we add the new AI infrastructure narrative into the product. So we want to get more exposure in the the investment financial market. So that's why we are trying to raise another round. And also we basically started to buy back the tokens from the unvested tokens starting in February, because starting May 19th, we will have like a vesting period for the investors for 36 months. So basically it's not a lot, because it's vested in 36 months. So originally it's a lot, but we started to buy back the tokens from investors because we are afraid of the investors just dump the tokens into the market. So we started to buy back 3 months, 6 months, and make sure these tokens are not released to the investors and dumped in the market. So yeah, so we are pretty active in the on that side as well, trying to get more tokens just staked on chain and get more investors on board.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, that's basically you're just the people who don't believe in you anymore. You're like, hey, we'll take your tokens back, and you're giving to the actual people who believe in you.
I mean, they still believe us.
Well, I don't mean it like that. I just mean like if you're going to dump the token, and in a sense, you're either up against it or you don't really believe in the project. So you're actually getting tokens out of weak hands and getting them into strong hands.
Because the thing is, if you look at the portfolios of all these VCs, 99% of them are losing. And Merlin is one of the very few portfolio they are actually making a lot of money, because they started to invest us in late 2023, which is like 30 million valuation. Right now it's 200 million. So they made like 600 percent profits, and these people are easy to sell, because the other portfolios are not making money for sure if you check all these portfolios. So either you stake on chain, or working with us, or you just sell the token back to the team. So I think that's something we're definitely trying to do here.
Yeah.
And I know for sure very few teams are doing that because the market is so bad.
Yeah, it's more like a price dump mitigation, in my opinion, because during the like the harder times, and so it's really a good strategy. And do you think that's going to be like more like of a popular thing for projects to do to try to do the buybacks, or do you think that it's going to be only selective projects that do that? Because you just said not many are doing it, but
yeah, I think very few projects. Like I don't even know like any projects doing that at this moment, because if you like most projects don't have cash in their hand. That's first. Second is most projects don't know what's going on in the next half year or year. So
yeah,
like it's really bad. And while we're talking, I think Bitcoin is going down as well.
oh no.
Yeah.
But hopefully that reverses there. But all right, awesome.
Yeah.
I guess that pretty much wraps it up. Any last words or anything maybe for the community to hang tight in there, or say just sell everything?
I don't know. I think right now, if you can just ignore all this chaos, that's better for you personally. Just avoid this. And yeah, I'm flying to Hong Kong in 6 hours, and get some meetings there, and get back in 48 hours. So it's like a 1 day trip. So yeah, see you guys next week.
All right, have a good night. Well, as much as you can have, and we'll talk to you when you get back.
Yeah, bye.
Right, bye,
See you, Jeff. Yeah, man. Absolutely awesome as always, man. How awesome is it to have the CEO of a chain come on every Monday? I mean, you're only getting that for one show, guys, and Merlin Chain's I think going to be very successful for doing this type of stuff. Like you're not seeing Michael Kong hop on Sonic Talk, right? But you're seeing Jeff hop on every Monday for Merlin Monday. Gotta love it.
Yeah. 100% and talks directly to the community and stuff, right? So, and also just constantly trying to add substance to the project, the chain, the token, all that stuff. So you got to appreciate that 1000%. You don't see that often, but yeah, man, great show. Do we have anything else you want to hit on, or?
That's really it. I got one more thing, but we can save for tomorrow.
Awesome. 193 of you guys hanging out with us on a Monday. That was I guess kind of gray, blackish Monday. I don't know what it is.
Shit.
I don't know. We'll see.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Yeah. But we appreciate you guys hanging out with us, because it is the ones that show up every single day. It's not easy, even for us that we do the show, and we get our energy is based off of providing you guys information and stuff like that. And you guys show up, and it's such a good relationship, but sometimes it's hard, guys, right? Trying to find information and all that great stuff. But yeah, we appreciate each and every one of you guys for hanging out with us, sticking with us. We're all going to make it together. Don't worry. If you could check out our partners, though, that we greatly appreciate it, as they are kind of the second half of what allows us to do this. Emblem Vault is going to be the interoperability tooling for Ordinals. You're going to be able to jump your frogs, your node monks, your puppets from Bitcoin to Merlin, from Bitcoin to Abstract, Base, Arbitrum, eventually Solana as well. Right. And so super exciting stuff. You're going to be able to use their AI agent Hustle to do that as well. So you don't have to go through the tedious process of going and actually manually, selecting your ordinal to vault, all that stuff. He can help you with that eventually. And don't forget about their rune, their TGE rune in September. You can actually participate in kind of a pre-sale environment on OpenSea. If you search Emblem Founder Vaults there, you can see the Founder Vault keys, which is an ERC 721. So you'll have to have a EVM wallet like MetaMask. But once that TGE happens, they'll give you instructions on how to get your runes and your Bitcoin wallet. So super exciting stuff. You can learn all about this at emblem.vision. And BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need some Bitcoin, some Bitcoin wallets, and 6 Bitcoin blocks, and you can start placing bets right away in their markets. They have their Blitz markets, which is really fun. You get 10 minutes. There's a clock that time counts down. I personally like to get to that minute point and then make my decision. If you want Bitcoin to go up or down, you can do Bitcoin, BNB, Solana, and you get an additional 10 minutes to see if you were right or wrong, and you get instantly paid out right then if you were right and hit it. So you can learn all about this, guys, at betbtc.win. And Artura Finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're going to be launching on Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2 very soon. And Hemi is backed by Binance, so a huge giant backing them. So they believe in them. So it's probably some exciting stuff coming from Hemi. But Artura is going to allow you to trade leverage with Bitcoin fungible tokens. Synthetic Bitcoin fungible tokens like Ordi, Sats, Doggo to the Moon, stuff like that. You're going to be able to trade, as well as popular tokens outside of the ecosystem, as in XRP, Tau, those types of tokens. But it's not the only way you can participate. You can participate in the future by providing liquidity in their vaults and earn passively. A lot of exciting stuff coming from this team, guys. We should be having the roundtable so you guys can kind of see some experienced traders pull from their minds of their strategies and stuff like that. But you can learn all about Artura at artura.finance. And Fluid Tokens, the first to offer staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1 to retail users. Right now they have, I believe the Pep Odin staking vault is still open, but if you're a founder of an Ordinal collection or you etched a rune with an established community and you want a staking vault, head over to their Discord. They have people answering questions all day over there, so you can get instructions on how to get that set up. They have their Aquarium interoperability bridge and smart wallet, I believe. That's going to be a part of that. That's going to be coming very soon, guys. And their FLDT rune, which is their token, their single token that they have on Cardano, is going to be able to bridge back and forth. Exciting stuff coming, guys, with these guys. So you can learn more at fluidtokens.com. And Merlin Chain, we just talked about them. They're the #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you are a builder and you want your protocol to be a bit more quick, seamless, and integrate the Wizard AI eventually, then reach out to their team. Building on Merlin Chain is very seamless. They have great builder support. We can get you guys set up with a Telegram chat for that. But also, if you're a retail user and you want to swap for Doggo to the Moon, you can do so at merlinswap.org, as they have strong liquidity pools over there for Dog. Lastly, it's the proof of stake. If you want to participate in securing Merlin Chain and you have Merlin tokens, you can actually stake to help secure the chain for 15% APR. As well as Bitcoin's going to be a part of that process too. We'll update you guys as soon as they add that. So exciting stuff from Merlin. You can learn about Merlin Chain at merlinchain.io. And lastly is our integrated partners in Foxy AI, building the Bitverse, a metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and the first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. We will update you the next time we live stream. Anybody's invited, or everybody's invited, I should say. And all you need is a supporting wallet. So all Bitcoin wallets and I believe Phantom as well. And Ordinal Hive is your aggregator Ordinal marketplace. You're going to be able to find the cheapest Ordinals around on Ordinal Hive for Bitcoin Layer 1 and Layer 2. Plus, they have great trading tools like live mempool insights to where you can try to grab something that somebody accidentally mispriced for cheap. But yeah, super cool opportunities with Ordinal Hive as well. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Awesome, man. Great job as always. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN, we have NordVPN, the #1 VPN that I use. I've played with pretty much every VPN. I always end up coming back to Nord, and I think you guys should as well. There is free ones out there, but if you don't mind paying $3 a month for the best, that is what Nord brings. So right now you can potentially get a year for like $36. That's what I did. I think my year is actually ending soon, so I'll be ringing it up, and I'm going to be using my link here because I want that 70% off, and I recommend you guys do that as well. If you guys are going to Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, but do not wait till May to get your tickets. Get them now. Get them in April. They are a lot more expensive than they were last month. So, but that's what you're dealing with, right? And then if you wait again another month, they're going to get even more expensive. I mean, I think the festival passes are between $600 and $700, and then the industry pass, which is the one, if you can afford it, that is the one you're going to want because you get that first day. That first day was the best day, in my opinion. And that industry pass also gets you to all the parties, after parties, and all that stuff as well. So that was actually insane to see as well. I see some. We actually didn't attend that, but we saw some pictures, and I highly regret not attending the party, the after party of the event. So definitely get the industry pass if you can afford it. And if you guys wouldn't mind checking out our store tab, that'll take you to our Shopify, all done through a third party. We supply the amazing logos. And if there's any logo that you want us to add, we can pretty much add anything. If you want something that we don't have there, just reach out to us. We can add it for you and have it in our store all the time. So if you want your PFP added, let's just say you have a Nuki and you want it on your shirt, we can do that for you. If you have a Gusano or whatever, we can pretty much add anything you want for you guys, man. And guys, just remember, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until tomorrow,
Peace.
OnChain, 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 OnChain. OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear traps. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed, gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.